title correct. I love how technology makes me look like I've never touched a computer in my life. Alright. I've never played an Endless Universe game. I've seen them, I'm slightly aware of them. And, hey, this dude clearly thinks he's, pretty hot stuff, so let's find out what the, Emperor clones are about. And I'm going to read along, so... It is impossible to dissociate my story from that of Horatio, the first of our name. The first beings to travel widely between the stars were known as the Endless. We know of no earlier form of intelligent life that moved between galaxies. Their history is glorious, but above all tragic. Though they unlocked the secrets of time, space, the stars, and life itself, they were unable to master their own internal conflicts. What remains now of the Endless are strange, disjointed traces in the forms of seeds, of observatories, of experiments, of cities and worlds, and perhaps, though not all of this is clear or verifiable, in the forms of other peoples. Many starfaring civilizations have since risen to the fore. Some have fallen as well. Events in recent history have led to an explosion in the number of players on the galactic scene. One of these, undoubtedly a major one, is Horatio. Once upon a time, Horatio was just a man, a simple trillionaire. If only we all had that problem. One night a vision came to him in the shape of a dream. It was the vision of an empire and eternal life. He left everything behind, venturing through the stars. Over the ages, he discovered many of the mysteries left by the Endless, and his knowledge and power grew. He created his first sons and willed his empire into existence, a beacon of all that is brilliant and beautiful. Now the empire of Horatio flourishes, and Horatio himself is immortal, with a power to rival that of the Endless themselves. Some say that they were living gods. They're dead now, though, while we thrive through our brother, our god, Horatio. We can go towards the light or stay in the dream a bit longer. Let's do exactly what the little old lady said not to do. Let's go towards the light. I guess technically she told her to go to the light, but not through it. I think I hear someone. All the clones in this batch are to be decanted today. I know this is earlier than the original schedule planned for, but the schedule didn't plan for 2 patrol squads in the heartland of the Empire to go missing within a month. Just follow my lead and the procedure will be fine. If you do well today, you just might be promoted to junior lab technician earlier than expected. That would be amazing, sir. Don't interrupt. Most of the process is automated, but contrarily to some of the clone hatching sequences you've seen in class, the final steps are still done by hand. Ugh. What does that mean? There are procedures for which a computer cannot be trusted. Amen. And you have to rely on steady Horatio judgment. This sounds troubling to me. Back to our specimens. You will handle clone births A through L. I'll do the other row. Pick one and get to work. Of course. Alright, I guess this is us. Well, not that, but... Can you hear me? One moment I'm asleep, the next time alive. My eyes struggle to adjust to the brightness of the room. It slowly comes into focus. I should point out that the only thing I know about this game is that this is quote-unquote a dating sim in the Endless Universe. And I've never played a dating sim, nor anything in the Endless Universe, as I said. It slowly comes into focus. There's a man in a white and blue uniform bent over me with a bald, elongated head and a look of concern on his face. I like that this is a concerned face. I don't feel like he's really that concerned. He looks more like he's annoyed. Hello? Oops. Oh, I can apparently use my scroll wheel. Interesting. Hmm? Ah, you're awake. Great. I have a couple of questions for you. He shoves the small hollow pad he's holding in my face. It's very bright and I recoil slightly, groaning something. He starts flipping through the pages when the other voice calls out. Come over here, please. I need your help. The man looks for a place to put down the hollow pad, then realizes his outfit doesn't have pockets big enough to accommodate it. Ha! It's your turn, dude. Little tiny fake pockets. Thyself-A, I'm talking to you. Get moving. Yes, sir, coming. He looks down at me and ends up putting the tablet down next to me. Yay, toy. I'll be back. Okay, so he didn't tell me not to touch the tablet, by the way. He trots away and out of sight. I struggle to prop myself up on one elbow so I can keep watching him. He stops at a platform some distance away on which lies a naked man. Another uniformed man standing nearby looking at the side panel next to the platform. All three of them look exactly alike. Brothers? How can I help, sir? The uniformed man points at the naked form in front of him. This clone is faulty, the lights are on, but it seems nobody's home. Well, sure, you haven't given your clones any coffee yet. I try to make sense of all this. These people are clones of one another? What do you mean, sir? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? He can hear us, but he can't respond. Something must have gone wrong during the process. On the outside he's fine, but his motor and educational imprinting is flawed. The result is this useless hulk. What good is it being beautiful if you can't make everyone proud? Dang. The cloning vats are near perfect, but every once in a while some other part of the pipeline produces a disgusting abnormality. Let's take care of him and chalk it up as a total loss. Dang. And what do you need me to do? Simple. Take his legs. The man called Thyself-A grabs the unmoving clone by the ankles and looks at the other clone. The latter has passed his hands under the clone's arms and pulls him off the platform with a grunt. We'll put the body in the recycling chute. This way we get the nutrients back. Think of it as his way of contributing. They both of them tug and pull haphazardly, and before long they're panting. We can't afford to show weakness at this time, or ever. Everything and everyone is perfect and beautiful in the Horatio Empire. It's a kindness we're doing to him, when you think about it. I watch as they come nearer and realize that there are about a dozen other men on the platforms. All of them are in various states of laying down or sitting up, looking at the grotesque scene with mild interest. Every single one of them is a carbon copy of the trio in front of us. I catch my reflection in the surface and suddenly I realize I too am one of them. A clone. Of them. A Horatio. It's a good thing we caught this now so we can fix it before the ceremony. Our records need to be perfect. Otherwise we'll end up in a backwater station decanting he only knows what. This is a small blessing, really. For you and me, I mean. For him, not so much. The trio passes in front of me, and for a moment my eyes lock onto those let me try that again. And for a moment my eyes lock into those of faulty clone. Far from being dead inside, I can see fear radiating from him. He knows he's going to be killed off because he's imperfect. I sit up and try to figure out what these tests are about. I don't want to follow this guy in the recycling chute. Every time I think about what a memory test entails, I come up with a blank. I think that's the issue right there. My body's functional, I can understand what people are saying and think, but there's nothing of the memory implants they mentioned. I'm a blank slate. Prop him up while I open the chute. I gotta do something about this. I turn around to look at the clone next to me, who is gazing about with an air of studied detachment. Our eyes lock and his expression shifts to a scowl. I haven't done anything to deserve it, although I've been fidgeting on my platform. What are you looking at, substrate? I rummage for a good comeback. All of these guys seem to hold perfection in very high regard. I know we'll shut him right up. Alright, so I can choose you're ugly, or I'm just wondering whose clone you are. Surely you can't be one of us. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm just wondering whose clone you are. Surely you can't be one of us. It takes him a moment, but eventually he gets it. He reddens and mutters under his breath. It definitely doesn't sound friendly. I realize we seem to be easily provoked, and causing a scene might just be my way out. I pull my legs off the platform to do just that when I catch something about to fall off. It's the holopad Thyself-A has left by my side. Maybe there's some information in there that'd help me cheat my way through the test instead. What should I do? Provoke a fight as a distraction, or look for information to cheat on the test. I mean, I think you shouldn't second guess yourself, right? So let's go for the provoking a fight. No time to investigate. I put the holopad down on the platform, hop off, and throw myself at my neighbor, screaming. Okay, maybe that's not what I had in mind when I selected that option, but alright. What did you just say to me? He is taken aback by my sudden outburst, and I land a beautiful first slap that almost throws him off the platform. I try to shove him onto the ground. He grabs me by the head, which is surprisingly effective, and we both fall to the floor with a crash. We start swiping at each other with our eyes closed, grimacing and trying to protect our face from the blows. Yep, not the face, not the face. The other clones are coming around us and are chanting, "Fight, fight, fight!" Others are saying things like, "Punch his ugly face," and "Show him who's got the best genes." We're not hurting each other much, but it gets tiring quickly. Thankfully, the lab technicians arrive and separate us. We're both panting and sweaty, which is unpleasant to me, but seems to be absolutely awful for the other guy. I win this round. That's enough, you two. You're going to mess up your pretty faces. Who'll even look at you after that, huh? Who are you even fighting for? This is do or die. My opponent looks defiantly around and spits out, "He was looking funny at one of his betters. I told him to back off. He called me a substrate. I clearly have the better genes." The lab technician in charge looks at Thyself-A and snickers. "Sort these idiots out. I'm going to let indoctrination know we've got a feisty bunch." He leaves the room. Thyself-A sighs and pinches the bridge of his nose. Okay. Everyone line up against the wall. We'll do a quick assessment and you'll be on your way. You two idiots sit in the idiot corner over there until we're done. I want an idiot corner. I mean, not for me, but I want a place I can tell somebody to go sit in the idiot corner. You're clearly functioning, and you seem to have the exact amount of jealousy that you need. You should probably be tested for stupidity down the line. I'm sure you'll make a great first impression in indoctrination. My opponent seems annoyed. I'm doing my best to mimic his expression, but I'm secretly relieved. We passed the test. I sit in silence, my blood pumping in my ears, waiting until the testing is done, and we're called away. Sometime later, the assistant comes back. "Thank you for waiting. I'm going to ask you to please head to wardrobe in the next room over, where you'll find your station uniform. Anyone will do. They're all the same size, obviously. After that, you'll be directed towards indoctrination. This will be followed by dinner, orientation, and you'll be shown to your quarters. Now, this way, please." The door to the next room opens and we step inside. I try to put a few people between me and my neighbor from the lab. There's a few tables at the far end of the room. Uniforms are neatly stacked and folded next to one another. We look at one another uneasily until someone steps forward and grabs the uniform, looks at it warily, and puts it on. We follow suit. It's some sort of green jumpsuit with 2 deep pockets. Yay, pockets! It closes with a simple zipper in the front. The uniform is a pretty snug fit, and the fabric seems sturdy, yet comfortable. I notice there are pairs of light boots under the table, so I take a pair. They're a bit tight. I put my hands in my pockets and look around me, waiting for what's next. The wait doesn't last. After a minute, another door opens. The assistant from before is holding his holopad and peers inside. Okay, well, normally there's somebody else to show you the way to indoctrination. We're a bit short-staffed at the moment, apparently. There's a grumble from my neighbors at this lack of decorum. I've lit a path on the holoscreens that will guide you there. Just proceed down that hallway to the concourse and follow the instructions. Sorry about that. I shuffle out of the room and hesitantly walk down the hallway, hoping that I won't get lost. Just follow the things. The others are following me. Although at a distance, no one seeming to want to take the initiative. They seem to be familiar with our surroundings, but not with the layout of the station. At least none of us has to pretend. I think no one wants to be the one going down the wrong way and making a mistake in front of the others. I've seen crossroads twice and stuck to the path indicated by an arrow on the wall screens. So far, so good. I keep walking. The others follow. Eventually, I hear a murmur in the distance, which grows to a distinct noise as I draw nearer. I see some bright lights in the distance and a much more colorful environment. I love these backgrounds. It's beautiful. I step out onto a plaza, a cathedral of green and gold. There are columns of glass everywhere, with manicured trees and shrubs in every corner, and overhead an immense glass canopy. This must be the concourse. There are lots of other people here, all wearing the same jumpsuit as we are. Possibly fresh new clones, just like us. Even my jaded brethren around me are all murmuring among themselves in tones of wonder and amazement, as if talking out loud might make the wonders fade away. This way, please. The voice cuts through the noise effortlessly, and in a moment the conversations go quiet. A Horatio has appeared on an immense hollow screen, inviting us to move along. There are more hollow projections in the hallways leading to, what was it, indoctrination? That sounds unpleasant. Not wrong. Nonetheless, I follow the crowd. We meander through the corridors for a couple of minutes before we reach our destination. This is a huge room covered in rich materials, from the deep carpeting in the middle of the room to the paneled walls. There are long rows of wide, comfortable-looking seats, all facing a wall covered with an immense hollow screen. Low columns form arcades and run along the walls of the room. It's beautiful. A Horatio in a red suit is standing with arms crossed on a low podium in front of the hollow screen. He has a look of studied annoyance on his face. Once all of us are inside the room, he speaks up. "May I have your attention, please?" The crowd falls silent. His voice carries across the room, and even from somewhere near the entrance, I can easily hear him. "Please take a seat. Go all the way through the row. Don't just hog the center seats. You'll hear me just fine from the sides as well." There's a bit of a rush forward from the new clones to do exactly the opposite of that. Soon enough, a cluster of Horatios are sitting in the prime seats and preventing the rest of the file from moving along. Oh, for his sake. Go around the audience and find a seat from the other side and occupy the back and side seats if necessary. I position myself carefully in a spot at the back. I'd rather watch what's happening and do my best to blend in. The Horatio in the red outfit seems about to continue when another moves in from the shadowy arcades to the side of the room and climbs the steps to the podium. His feet echo softly on the green marble tiles. The red Horatio closes his mouth and deflates a bit. I see the jerk Horatio has arrived. I mean, the whole room, I guess. The other one is moving pretty slowly, and from the envious looks of my closest neighbors, I can only imagine that it's on purpose. He dismisses Red with a casual gesture of the hand and a smile. Red Horatio leaves the stand. With a grin, the second Horatio turns to us, his cape flowing, in an emphatic demonstration that he's here, and demands our attention. When he speaks, his inflections are slightly different. I surmise that he probably spends a lot of time speaking in public. "Thank you, second-rate Master Sergeant Extras B12. That'll be all. To each and every me, welcome to Kappa Station, finest in the cluster. Your memory imprints do not cover the last couple of decades since the last backup was distributed among cloning facilities in this quadrant. Therefore, a lot of the information you know, and the things you know, may be outdated. This is a crash course in what has happened while you were sleeping. Let's start with the most important thing. Etiquette with regards to my person. You may address me as third-rank esteemed Grand Headmaster Rajchai Aternus P02. I'm not going to do that. In settings that only comprise initiate level and above station personnel, you may call me simply Grand Headmaster, or Master Eternus P02. In public, you will always address me as your likeness. I like that. Provided that the honorifics have been properly given and received in a small setting, you may subsequently call me Sir. He pauses for a second. Now that this is covered, let us move on to secondary topics. First, your own identity. It is with a great pleasure that I deem you all initiates. More specifically, your full name will be First Level Initiate Megrez, which, since this is your facility of origin, and then your chosen name, along with your decanting birth and batch number. You are batch 21 of this administration. There is a holopad on your desk. You may use it now to approve your suggested name or pick another one. I look at the holopad resting atop the desk. The screen reads, First Level Initiate Megrez, Placeholdus F21. Do I really want to be called by that name? I'm sure I can find something better. I rake my mind for an idea. Could I randomly type in letters? Wait, no, I'll be stuck with that. Better find something discreet so I blend in. I press the delete button. The words enter your name appear instead. I'm going to be cheeky and name myself Horatio. The words, you cannot name yourself Horatio, for you are not him, appear on the screen. If no satisfactory name is entered, you will lose naming privileges. I guess there is only one Horatio. Enter your name. I shall be Boratio. The screen flashes green for a second after I hit the submit key. Okay, my name is First Level Initiate Megrez Boratio F21 now. I hope it brings me luck. The Horatio on stage must have some way of checking our progress, because after a moment he continues. As initiates, you need not address Category X personnel or unsightly species you may encounter directly. You may find the closest underling to do that for you. Be aware that there are many new species that have been added to his glorious empire. Xenugles aside, there may be some more aliens around the station. Do not be alarmed, they should all be tame. Generally, the rough and unwashed masses are kept away from their betters, but several client species are permanent residents aboard Kappa Station. It is entirely possible that you'll come across some of their representatives over the course of the next few weeks. Should you need to communicate with them, they are familiar with our speech and will attempt to replicate it, to the best of their ability. Most of the new species we have encountered have proven to be just as disappointing as we expected. He smirks. He flicks his wrist and pulls his belt buckle free. Ugh. With a wave, the buckle lights up, revealing a small holopad. Fancy. Now for a brief overview of what has happened in the last decades. Relationships with the so-called fledgling United Empire remain very cold. Representatives from their young leader, a male human called Zelivas, have refused vassalage under the auspicious leadership of Horatio himself. Similarly, they have repelled violently several attempts at claiming outer planets for our empire. Proceed with caution. Relationships with the robotic insectoid hive known as the Cravers are still at an all-time low. They have eaten the last dozen envoys, as well as the ships they came on. The colony of Heka was deemed lost after we had to vitrify the surface in the year 10191 after him. Their strength would make a great addition to the Empire, but at this time we are not pursuing efforts any further. Similarly, we are currently not in speaking terms with the Sophan Republic. The diminutive know-it-alls have recently jumped the gun and seized the system of Ingress, and wait, this happened centuries ago. He flicks through several screens on his holoscreen in rapid succession. All this information is completely out of date. Who messed with the geopolitics database? I'm surrounded by complete idiots, I swear. Never mind this. He turns off the holoscreen, sighs, and then continues. I guess I will be doing this from memory. It might be a bit patchy, something that your own memories will definitely encounter too once you start living in your body for a while. Something to do with having millennia of memories of him. Moving on, you might be wondering why so many of you are being decanted at this time and for what purpose. The station is home to Horatio Academy, where the best and brightest of his siblings come from all across the Empire for further education. The best of these, in turn, get a shot at joining the other academy, led by a Vodiani male named Islander. Hope I'm saying all these weird names right. Ah, the Vodiani. Life-sucking ghouls who live in gigantic space arcs and prey on the defenseless souls of our brethren. Except this Islander fellow who fled them and founded the academy, a place that has grown into immense power. They have knowledge and mastery of dust. Your purpose, if you end up among the chosen few, is to go there and acquire some of this knowledge and power and bring it back for the glory of his empire. Finally, the why so many of you at once. Well, 2 of our exploration vessels disappeared recently. They contained the brightest minds of this generation, our best shot at getting the knowledge we're seeking. They're gone now, and just a few very short weeks before, Horatio Prime himself is due to review our academy cadets. Horatio Prime himself is coming to Kappa Station, and we have no cadets. The shame this would bring to me, and to the whole station, would be unbearable. Anyway, you've got about 3 weeks to become these cadets. No pressure. There will be extensive training. There will be classes. There will be etiquette courses and lessons of the latest courtly dances. There will be no failure, or else. Now, if you have questions, keep them for your instructors tomorrow. Time for you to get sustenance and retire to your personal quarters. He turns away and walks out the same way he came, under the arcades and out of sight. This Saturnus P02 guy is something else. Well, we're gonna go with our first one, which is, what a jackass. If I understand him correctly, I have 3 weeks to not only pass for a normal Horatio, but to become an outstanding specimen worthy of sending on to steal secrets from a powerful alien entity. Gotcha. People have already started getting up when the other one comes back. Master Sergeant something, I believe. Attention, please. You are now going to be provided with dinner. Follow me to the mess hall. Without waiting, he turns around, walks down the podium, and off into the opposite direction, the one we came. My brethren and I quickly follow. Yay. Finally we get there. Compared to the concourse in the room we were just in, this is a rather drab place, somehow halfway between a spaceport and a hospital. It doesn't look like a place to enjoy dinner as much as a place to eat. A place to feed oneself. Some of my, classmates are already in line, and a few have already sat down to eat something I can't quite identify yet. I have decided to say classmates since I can't settle on whether we should be feeling any kinship towards one another. It does feel strange to hear brethren every other sentence, and I guess calling us cadets might be getting ahead of myself yet. The headmaster's speech didn't really help normalize the situation, really. Someone bumps into me and I realize I'm holding up the crowd. I get in line. I grab a tray and slide it on the rail. There are some odd kitchen utensils available, but I'm not sure what purpose they serve, so I compromise by taking a spoon from the lot. Upon closer inspections, I realize it's a spork. The future looks amazing. I look up at the people serving us food. They're all Horatios too, wearing some sort of jumpsuit and looking pretty upset to be here. One hands me a bowl of something I don't quite recognize, serving me a mean look at the same time. I'm surprised by the direct eye contact, and before I know it, I'm saying, "Hello, thank you?" The Horatio lunch person is as surprised as I am and frowns before saying back, "Hello, enjoy your food." I've never before seen anyone be so begrudging in saying thank you. Then again, I've not seen many people. Take it easy, friend. I shuffle along and look at the contents of my bowl. It's slop. Definitely slop. I don't know what it's made of, or what animal it came out of. Oh well, at least it seems hot. I grab some water and a piece of bread. No dessert options. Princely. I look around for a place to sit next to someone, hoping for a bit of, well, any kind of interaction. Sen Uglies. I don't want to pronounce that Sen Uglies. Now I'm going to, forever. Thanks for that, Raven Thalos. I sit down next to a bored-looking classmate, but after a few overtures and encouraging smiles, I give up. Every me is a bit on edge, and at other tables it looks like people are focusing on the contents of their tray. The slop proves to taste just as awful as it looks. Once I'm done pushing about the last bits of food left, I stand up and go put my tray back where I've seen others do so. A fair bunch of people have left already, looking at their trays. And looking at their trays, it seems like I'm not the only one for whom enjoyment of our dinner was minimal. Off to the side, there's a guard ticking people off a long list and sending them down a hallway. It's that Master Sergeant dude again, I think? Some of us, it seems, have different face markings and uniforms, although I'm not sure what their meanings are. We lock eyes and he barks up. What's your name, first level initiate? I enunciate clearly. I am Horatio F21. First level initiate Megrez Horatio F21. He searches for a few moments and then finds it. Yes, Horatio F21. Your living quarters are in Section B, Level 9, Hallway 47, Door 32. I am never going to remember that. It's down this way, just follow the signs, you can't miss it. And if you do, you'll figure it out eventually. It's fair. I look the way he's pointing at, a nondescript hallway off to the side leading away from the concourse. I look back at the guard, but he's turned his attention to someone else. Hesitantly, I set out to find Door 32. Oh, crap. My footsteps echo softly down long, empty hallways. It takes me some time to realize I don't see anyone else, although I sometimes hear voices echoing from afar. I eventually find my way to Level 9, Hallway 47. It's an even quieter area of the station, which is saying something. There are small doors there, tiny affairs compared to the ones in the main concourse. Even the ceiling is much lower, about 2 meters high. The lighting is a mix of neon glare and the ever-oppressive flicker of a tube that just refuses to give up the ghost. I look around me to get my bearings. It seems I'm nearly at the end of the hallway, where a bend leads to some sort of control system for life support. They put me next to the air conditioning unit. I guess I'm getting the finest air in the area then. Yep. With one last look towards the map, I start down the hall. Door 1, 2, 31, 32. This should be it. I look around. Might be the finest air in the area, but boy oh boy, this end of the hallway looks like it hasn't seen a mop in weeks. There are strange sounds coming from the next door over, which must be the life support control rooms. Control room. Ominous. Is this the right place? Section B, Level 9, Hallway 47, Door 32. Yep, no doubt this is me. I pull the heavy metallic door open with a groan and step inside. From my vantage point, I survey my new kingdom. From left to right, there's a tiny sink for my ablutions, a mirror that doubles as a holoscreen, a toilet with no lid, a closet, a narrow bunk with a blanket and a pillow, some almost empty shelves, and we're back to the door. All in a cylinder, about 2 by 4 meters. Cozy. Well, this may not be the warm embrace of a cloning birth, but it'll do. At least I have the place to myself. I pull the door closed behind me. There's a distracting buzz coming from the overhead fan. The finest air. I sit down on the bed and look about. It's a bit too hot in here now that the door is closed. There are actual physical controls on a panel by the entrance, so I turn the temperature down a notch. The buzzing increases to a screech. Is something scraping on metal? There's no way I can sleep with this thing on. Oh my god. I turn the knob back up to its original level, and the metal screech subsides. Ugh. I plop myself down on the bed, turn off the light, and pull the blanket over my head. There's a sinister rumble in my belly. That doesn't bode well. Pooping. I wake up with a start. I had a strange sensation. A dream? A dream in which everyone was wearing the same face and smiled and snarled at one another in the same breath. They were all playing a part in some big play, and I seemed to be the only one not to know my lines. If my mask fell off, I died. I sigh heavily and push myself off the mattress. I stagger off the bed and put my hands on each side of the sink. I look into the mirror hollow screen. The dream was real. I feel a strong urge to puke. I clench my hands on the sink until my knuckles are as white as the faux porcelain and breathe as deeply as I can. The feeling passes. I open my eyes again. I notice there's a blinking icon flashing on the hollow screen. It expands when I press until it covers half the screen. Breakfast, mess hall, classes at Academy Auditorium 3, lunch, mess hall, extracurriculars specific, dinner, mess hall, advanced classes specific. Breakfast is grayed out and classes is bolded. Looks like I'm late on my first day of class. I bolt out the door and run like my life depends on it. It does. Sorry I'm late. Grand Headmaster. You were late indeed, first level initiate. It seems that the redesign of the station altered enough that fresh initiates do not find corresponding plans in their memories. Still, the last of your classmates arrived 10 minutes ago. Have a seat. In the future, make sure you arrive on time. Initiate Horatio F21. So, cool. He knows my name. That's great. I scurry to my seat in the back. Against my better judgment, my ears and cheeks have turned a very nice shade of pink. I can hear my classmates snicker. I sink into the deep comfort of the chair and try to ignore the burning sensation. My empty stomach adds its groans to the chorus. This is just great. Eternus gestures to the hollow screen behind him. Moving on. Over the next 3 weeks, you will undergo an accelerated program. You would better not miss a class. Subjects covered will be among others. He starts listing off subjects in a rapid-fire monotone that is hard to follow. I make out a few words. History of Horatio in the last 100 years, astrocartography, I'm not even going to try that. Egociation? Egociation, etiquette, startup imperialism, dance, balleting, personal grooming, speechcraft, xenobiology, dealing with lasers, Horatiology, cooking, reception protocol, fencing, Horatio resources, perfumes, genomic inference. Wow. Hand-to-hand combat, social hygiene, sublight navigation, logistics, glorynomics, cloning 101, personal disruption, surveillance, xenopolitics, imperial maintenance, fleet maneuvers, spacecraft care 101, aerobatics, and guns. For a start. I frown. This sure sounds like an eclectic mix. I have a feeling that simply repeating this list will take up most of the 3 weeks at our disposal. We will begin with an all-time favorite, personal grooming. My classmates let out appreciative ahs and approving nods at the subject choice. Next up is a very detailed anatomical representation of Horatio. Eternus begins. Because it's Eternus, but... Melodious chimes sound off in the distance. Heads perk up and look around. Ah, time flies when we are having fun. I did my best to pay attention. Truly, there would be so much more to say. There's a lot more course material. We will get to some of it later, but for now it's time for you to get lunch. This afternoon you'll be assigned your first extracurricular activities. They will be assigned to you based on personal affinities. I will see you all, he pauses for dramatic effect, tomorrow. Same place, same time. Do not be late. A passing glance in my direction is all the confirmation I need. I look away with a detached air and avoid making eye contact. We're back in the mess hall, and it seems Slop is back as well. I sigh. And this is where I'm going to save for another day. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully this is at least a little entertaining. I'm hoping that in the next session of play, there will be more choices and, I don't know, more either detailed or concrete information. Right now it feels like I'm reading the prologue to a weird YA novel. So, I don't know. Thanks.